Hello guys, myself Sheikh Basha. I am from mechanical engineering. My roll number is 22955A0314 and my tech talk is based on thermodynamics and my topic is on the things in the mathematical expression for the second law of thermodynamics. Introduction. The second law of thermodynamics put restrictions upon the direction of heat transferred and achieved efficiency of heat engines. The first law of thermodynamics states that the engine of the energy of the universe remains constant. The energy can exchange between system and surroundings. It cannot be created or destroyed. While the first law of thermodynamics gives information about the quantity of energy transferred as a process, it fails to provide an insinuates about the directions of energy transferred and the quantity of energies. The first law content cannot indicate whether a mythical bars of uniform temperatures can spontaneously becomes warms warmer at one end and colored at other. All that the law can state is that there will be always been energy balance in the process across. It is the second law of thermodynamics that provides the criterion for the feasibilities of any process. A process cannot occur unless in a stratifies both the first and second law of thermodynamics. What is second law of thermodynamics? The second law of thermodynamics states that any spontaneously occurring process will always lead to an acceleration in the entropy s of a universe. The simple work the law explains that an isolated system's entropy will never describes over time. Non, nonetheless, nonetheless is in some case where the system is in a thermodynamic equilibrium or going through a reversible processes, the total entropy of an systems and its surroundings remains constant. The second law is also known as the law of increased entropy. The second law clearly explained that it is impossible to convert heat energy to mechanical energy with 100% efficiency. For example, if we look at the piston in an engine, the gas is heated to increasing its pressure and derives a piston. However, even as the piston moves, there is also some left leftover heat in the gas that cannot be used for carrying out any other work. Heat is wasted and it has to discarded. In this case, it is done by transferring it to a heat sink, or in the case of a car engines, waste heat is destroyed by exhausting the user fluid and air mixture to the auto spray. Additionally, heat generated from friction that is generally unbalanced should also be removed from the systems. Second law of thermodynamic equation. Mathematically, the second law of thermodynamic is represented as delta S uni UNIV S UNIV is greater than 0, where delta S UNIV is the change in entropy of a universe. Entropy is an measuring of randomness of the systems, or it is the measuring of energy or chaos within an isolated systems. It can be considered as a quantitativity index that describes the quality of energies. Meanwhile, there are few factors that causes an increases in entropy of the closed systems. First, in enclosed systems, while the mass remains constant, there is an exchanging of heat with the surroundings. This change in the heat contains a certain and disturbance in the systems, thereby increasing the entropy of the systems. Secondly, internal change many occurs in the movement of the molecules of the systems. This leads to disturbance with further cases irreversibility inside the systems, resulting in the increment of its entropy. Different states of the law. There are two stages and the second law of thermodynamics, which are Kelvin Planck stage, Clausius stage. Kelvin Planck stage. it is impossible for a heat engine to provide a network in the complete cycle if it exchange heat only with the bonds bodies heat with the bodies at the single fixed temperature expression. If q2 is equals to 0, it is w net is equals to q1 or efficiency is equals to 1.00. The heat engine produced work in an complete cycle by exchanging heat with only one reservoirs. Those velocity the Kelvin Planck states classified state. It is impossible to construct. It is impossible to construct a device operating in a cycle that can transfer heat from a colored body to a barrier one without consuming consuming any work. Also, energy will not flow spontaneously for a low temperature object to a higher temperature object. It is measured to note that we are we are referring to the need transfer of energy transfer can take place for a cold object to a hot object by transferring an energetic particles or electromagnetic radiation. However, the need transfers will occur for the hot objects to the cold objects in an spontaneous process, and some for of work is needed to transfer the need energies to the hot objects. In other works, usually the compressor is derives by a external surfaces. The refrigerators wants to be able to operate the heat pump, and refrigerators works on classified stages. Violations of the second law: TL, QL, QH, and TH. Both classifiers and Kelvin states are equalated. It is and device vaulting a classifier statement will also vaulted a Kelvin stages, vaulted Kelvin stages and vice variants. These are the diagrams for assuming that the Kelvin Planck statement in the vaulted first one, and second diagram is says that heat engine refrigerator